Hey guys, Freaky Fishka here. Bit of a different one today. We're joined online almost by Anthony. Anthony topped his Geek Retreat OTS Championship, the Euro Invite one with Adventure Runick. This event was pre-ban list, but the list is post-ban legal. Anthony came fourth, which is pretty good. I think he got the idea after not doing so well on the Saturday event. He just went in with a completely new deck. It does seem very, very cool. It certainly caught my eye. That's enough from me. I'll let Anthony take it away from now.
Hello YouTube and welcome to, I guess, Freaky Fish Guy's channel. This is my top 4 OTS Championship Brave Runick list. I had a really fun time at the event. It was Bournemouth OTS Championship up in, I guess Ringwood OTS Championship for level up games. It was a good event. It was a lot of fun, and I decided to build this because I did bad on Saturday at Southampton with Mathmech. So let's just get straight into it. I had 3 right, 1 Fateful, 1 Dracoback, 3 Enchantress, only 2 of which are ulti, sads, 1 Griffin Rider, 1 Illegal Knight. The Illegal Knight, I guess, is surprising in the main, but it overperformed. Honestly, best card in the engine. I wouldn't cut it for anything. Then the Runick stuff, we got 3 Fountain, obviously. Draws you 3 cards, it's kind of insane, lets you play from your hand on your opponent's turn. 3 Tip, search a card, banish 1. Freezing Curses, it's Chalice, but they banish the top 3, which I'm kind of a fan of. 3 Destruction, it's MST, but they banish the top 4. 3 Flashing Fire, it pops a special summon monster, and then banishes top 2. Still kind of good. 2 Droplet, I'll probably cut this to 1. I never used the effect other than the effect to summon. I guess I'm just playing 2 because it's foil. But yeah, this wasn't that great as a card itself. 1 Dispelling, 1 Slumber, and 1 Smiting Storm. Again, these were only ever used to really summon. I almost was at a point where I was going to Dispelling to rip a card, but it didn't come up. Not really. And then onto the non-runic stuff in the main. Metaverse. 2 there can be only 1. 2 summon limit. For traps, there's an obvious reason for Metaverse. Tikaboo and Summon Limit, I think, were the best ones going into a lot of matchups. There was an FTK there, so Summon Limit was really good into that matchup. 1 Day of Peace, this card's nuts. Neither player takes damage, but you both draw a card, so they're 1 card closer to your win condition and you find another card. Call by the Grave. I don't think I actually resolved this, but it's just a really solid spell. Instant Fusion. The extra deck's a little weird, but this lets you get to a point where you can have a Hugin to protect, and then you can summon like a Munin, or Jerry to add back a Fountain or something like that. It's kind of fun. I probably will cut this. 1 Terraforming, gets 1 of 6 field spells, and speaking of 6 field spells, we dodged the list, boys and girls. We dodged the list. Mystic Mine, this is an inherently disgustingly good card. There were many times where I just had a Mystic Mine and then 3 set Runic cards and just let my opponent attempt to play. Or not, and they'll just set cards so they don't discard them. And then you pop them with Destruction and banish the top 4 and your opponent's a lot of cards closer to losing. It's quite good, quite solid. Then in the extra, we could only find 2 Hugin before the event. But this card searches Fountain and it protects. The protection is Resolution, like Balinx or Return of the Dragon Lords. So if your opponent activates an effect that would pop your field spell, you can chain any Runic in hand to summon this, and then on Resolution of the chain, you just banish this to protect your field spell. Which can include mine, because it just destroys cards if something would destroy cards. If you expect your opponent to be on Cyclone, Munin's good, because it negates the activation. You don't get to do the same thing with this with the chaining, but this also gains a K in end phase as a mandatory effect. So time is good. 3 Jerry, can't be destroyed by card effects, comes up. Adds back Fountain, comes up. When it's destroyed by battle, pops a card, came up a lot. But that's because people didn't read my cards. 1 Millenniumize. This is for a spicy play with Instant Fusion. You can Instant Fuse into this on turn 1. And it never came up, but in theory. Instant Fusion into this on turn 1. And then after you've resolved Hugin, and Hugin can then protect this in the end phase, so you have this life for your opponent's turn. If they don't do anything, then fine, this dies. If they do stuff, then you can use this as a negate. Sea Monster of Theseus, and this is where the extra deck gets a little spicy. Only in here because I had Instant Fusion and I had extra space in my extra deck. Arcathis, Omega, lights all there. Yeah, Arcathis, Omega, Cluing. I had no time to find targets for Instant Fusion, but quite simply Theseus plus Hugin, Theseus plus Munin, Theseus plus Jerry. These were probably the best cards I can think of in the 5 minutes I had to find them from my binder. And the last two cards were Link Spider. I don't know why I put this in here. Probably just so I could clear a token so I could activate another right. I don't know why I'd want to do that, but you never know. Might have come up. It didn't. And then Gravity Controller. This is for the situation where your opponent gets a card that is like a Towers, but it's still affected by card effects in the EMZ. I couldn't think of one immediately, but I thought it might be worth having. Because you can summon any fusion from your extra, link it into Gravity Controller, then smack into their thing in the EMZ and bounce them both. Freeing up your EMZ, and then... I think it bounces both, I believe it does. Yes. Freeing up your EMZ, so you could keep playing Hugins and Munins and whatever, and allowing your opponent to not have their towers anymore. Which is very useful. And now the side deck. There are some spicy choices for the side deck. Again, I was very tired, didn't have a lot of time, but we'll start off with the basic stuff. We had 3 Dim Barrier. This came up in the mirror because you could just change their effects and they wouldn't summon. I did lose that round, that was my only loss, but they had Allure and I didn't. And honestly, that might be what one of the cuts become, is an Allure, just so I can win. In the mirror, 1 Pank. This came up a lot. Card's really good. 3 Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. This came up twice, and it won me those games both times. This card is very silly and very good. 3 Lava Golem. This definitely came up. It's definitely nuts. You don't use your normal summon, which is why Brave's good, so this becomes even better. 3 Alpha. This came up in a match against Tyr, but it didn't come up in the way that I wanted it to, which is if you summon Alpha and summon Jerry, you can bounce both of these with Alpha's effect to bounce 2 cards. It never came up, but it's a fun little bit of theory. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and the card that would become Allure, Book of Eclipse. I never sided this in. It would have been really funny if I ever went to a position where I was going first, and I could just set this and then interrupt my opponent and make them draw a bunch of cards, but it didn't happen. That's my Runick Adventure list. After the ban list, nothing changes. This probably becomes Allure. I probably cut Instant Fusion and drop and go down to exactly 40. Might play Desires, not really decided yet. The stopping power of this deck is quite good. I don't think anything else in the side needs changing, and I don't think the main is bad by any means. Yeah, it's Runick Adventure. So thanks. Well, big shout out go to a Mr. Dean Taylor, the store owner of For the Kings Gaming. He sent me a couple of ideas the night before the event when I said, hey, I want to play Runick, but I want to play a Brave engine. He sent me a couple of ideas for some tech choices, and they came up. I wouldn't be siding Sister if he hadn't mentioned it being the only way to win in time. Then I would also like to thank everyone from Portsmouth and Southampton. Thanks for coming to the event. Portsmouth took 75% of the top slots and got 75% of the invites. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks all you folks out there. Big support to the Freaky Fish guy. He's a fantastic guy. See you next time.